Last week, the divorce papers arrived. I received this entire packet of documentation from Grant's lawyer, who is most likely another friend of Diana's, that detailed every transaction I made using our joint account. They're attempting to exploit my carelessness with money against me. As if it were a crime to purchase expensive items for our house, I was forced to leave our home. Technically speaking, though, I didn't have. Being there was becoming intolerable to me. I was reminded of how different things are now by everything. This small flat where I'm staying is far more expensive than it should be. My company is essentially doomed. It turns out that Grant's contacts, who felt sorry for me, made up the majority of my clients. I attempted to contact a few of them, but it appears that they are all currently collaborating with Diana's marketing representative. How practical. Seeing them everywhere, not just on LinkedIn anymore, is the hardest part. Our local business community is rife with them. Last month, Grant and Diana threw this massive charity event. The theme, or something pretentious, was young financial literacy. Most of our old pals were present, along with everyone else. Naturally, I wasn't invited, but I did see all the pictures. Diana wore a stunning designer dress that was likely more expensive than my rent, standing next to Grant as he spoke about empowering people through education. She looked annoyingly gorgeous. They've reportedly taken over my favorite breakfast location, Riverside Cafe, which is where I ran into them the other day. In addition to being healthy and well-groomed, Grant appeared lighter in some way, as if the stress I was allegedly causing him had simply disappeared. Over their laptops, they were engaged in a heated debate, most likely preparing their next power couple maneuver. When Diana first noticed me, "Did you know what she did?" She genuinely grinned at me, as if she were sympathetic to my plight. Her finger had a huge ring that caught my attention. It seems that they are already engaged. He's already organizing his next wedding, and the ink on our divorce papers isn't even dry yet. According to my mother, I should be pleased that he is content, since it indicates that he will be more giving in terms of the divorce settlement. But while he's living the life I was meant to have, how can I be content? He's creating it with her, even though we were meant to build it together. What truly irritates me is how everyone pretends as though this is a fairy tale conclusion. They claim that Grant has at last found someone who gets him. Diana has greatly aided in his development. I was the one who supported him when he was first starting out, when he needed someone to come home to after working those crazy hours. But no one seems to remember that. I backed him back then. But it seems like that doesn't matter now. My sister said that I might need to work through certain issues, so she suggested that I pursue therapy. I'm managing the divorce quite fine, despite her opinion that I'm not. I'm not the type of person who ends a marriage the moment someone more attractive enters the picture. Yes, I may have texted Grant a few times while intoxicated, and I may have passed their house once or twice, okay, multiple times, but that's just normal, isn't it? Everyone wants to know where their husband and his new ideal girlfriend live. To let everyone know that I'm moving on, I made another attempt at dating. I went on a couple dates and downloaded all the applications, but it's difficult to, when you're struggling financially, find someone to support you. In addition, every guy I meet has either heard about our divorce through rumors or knows Grant through business. This town isn't as large as I had assumed. Last week, I saw them at the bank, my new one, since I can't go to our old one anymore. They were presumably planning their ideal future together in a quiet office. Grant was attentive and involved as he nodded along with Diana, as she pointed to something on a tablet. He never glanced at me when I tried to discuss my business ideas with him. I stood there observing them for a minute, but they didn't see me. It seemed as if they were speaking the same language or something. When you have to watch the person who hurt you live their best life, no one ever tells you what to do, even though everyone insists that time heals all wounds. When there is a reminder of what you lost everywhere you look, how do you move on? And how do you handle the possibility that you may not have lost it at all? Without even being aware of it, you pushed it away. Last night, I truly hit my lowest point, not the type one had anticipated. When Grant first informed me about Diana, when I had to leave our home, or even when my business eventually failed. No, this was not like the others. I was outside their house at 2 a.m, trying to summon the bravery to ring their doorbell while sipping cheap wine in the rain. I get how that sounds, I promise. However, I had been looking at their Wedding pictures all day, indeed, they were married. It was a beautiful event in a vineyard that most likely cost more than I earn in a year. Diana looked like some sort of financial goddess thanks to her gorgeous dress. And Grant, my goodness, I've never seen him smile so much, not even on our wedding day. So there I was, clutching this folder of old pictures of Grant and me when we were happy, mascara streaming down my face. I had persuaded myself that all I had to do was remind him of what we had, however. I caught a glimpse of them through their kitchen window while I stood there getting soaked. In fact, they were doing dishes together at 2 in the morning. They were giggling about something while Diana was washing and Grant was drying. Even though the situation was so straightforward, it caused me to feel something. I took my hands off the doorbell, rather, I simply broke down, complete breakdown. Ugly crying, the works and sat down on their wet driveway. I overheard someone inquire as to whether they ought to call the police. When their neighbor's security light turned on, that's rock bottom. Grant texted me when I got up the following morning. As it happens, they received security camera footage of my small driveway breakdown from their neighbor. I thought he would be upset and might possibly want a restraining order. He suggested that we have coffee at this new location across town, rather than at our regular locations. The idea of going up against him in particular nearly made me decide not to go. Knowing that ally had witnessed me at my lowest point made me want to leave the country. However, there's something about reaching your lowest point that makes you fearless, or perhaps you're simply too tired to run anymore. Grant was already at the coffee shop when I arrived. Thank God, no Diana this time. He had placed an order for my go-to beverage, an oat milk latte with an additional shot. Despite everything, he was still able to recall how I drink my coffee. I almost started crying again over that little detail, he said, Brielle, in a soft voice that just made the situation worse. He was not upset or even dissatisfied when he said, "We need to talk about what happened last night." His worry seemed to be directed at a troubled buddy rather than his ex-wife, who had lost it in his driveway. I began launching into my standard defenses that this was unfair, that Diana had stolen my life, and that he had abandoned me. But he raised his hand to say something that finally got through to me. "You told me to stop complaining about being lonely," she quietly said. "But you never actually heard me when I tried to tell you why I was lonely. I needed a partner. Brielle, someone who would take our future as seriously as I did. When I talked about work, I wasn't just complaining. I was trying to share my life with you. When I worried about our spending, I was trying to protect our future. But you treated me like I was the enemy." The words froze in my throat, even though I wanted to disagree, because I began to see things that I had previously been oblivious to when I sat there and looked at the man I had married, the man who suddenly seemed so different yet exactly the same. He wasn't ignoring me when he attempted to discuss work with me, rather, he was attempting to involve me. The goal of those discussions about spending and budgeting was to create something together, not to exert control over me. He was attempting to protect the future I was spending more money on than he could save for it, even if it meant staying late at the office to prioritize work over me, I said. I didn't mean for any of this to happen, and this time, I wasn't attempting to place the responsibility elsewhere. Your success so eclipsed me. I wanted to demonstrate my ability to construct something as well. Grant nodded. I understand. Perhaps I should have done a better job of encouraging your aspiration, but you wanted a blank check, Brielle, not support. You accused me of not believing in you each time I attempted to assist you in developing a legitimate business plan. Diana didn't take your life. She merely desired the same things as me: accountability, cooperation, and common objectives. I was relieved when he told me that he and Diana were expecting a child, that they were creating the future I had always talked about but never really worked for, that he was starting his own real estate development company and she was in charge of the financial planning, and that they were a team in every way I never allowed us to be. I'd love to say this conversation completely transformed me, that I walked out of that coffee shop a new woman, ready to take responsibility for my choices and build a better future, but real life isn't that simple. The truth is, I'm still struggling. I still get jealous when I see their posts online. I still sometimes want to blame Diana or Grant or the universe for how things turned out. But that night on their driveway changed something. Maybe it was hitting rock bottom, or maybe it was finally seeing them through that window seeing the kind of partnership I could have had if I'd been ready for it. For the first time, I'm starting to understand that loneliness isn't just about having someone physically present. It's about being truly seen, heard, and understood. Grant tried to be seen by me, and I dismissed him. He tried to understand me, and I pushed him away. Last week, I started seeing a therapist, not because my sister suggested it, but because I finally want to understand why I couldn't see what was right in front of me. Why I treated Grant's success like a threat instead of something we could share. Why I confused spending money with building a life. My therapist says it's good that I'm asking these questions. Even if I don't have the answers yet, she says rock bottom can be a foundation if you let it. I'm not sure I believe that entirely, but I'm trying. I deleted the security camera footage from my phone. Yes, their neighbor sent it to me too. Probably as a wake-up call. I unfollowed Grant and Diana on social media not out of spite this time, but because I need to focus on my own story instead of obsessing over theirs. Yesterday, I applied for a real job, not as a business owner or social media guru, but as a marketing assistant at a small firm. The pay isn't great and the title feels like a step backward, but it's honest work. My new boss actually asked me to create a content calendar and track ROI metrics. The old me would have called that boring and restrictive. Now I'm just grateful for the structure. The weird thing is, ever since I stopped fighting reality so hard, things have gotten a little easier. Don't get me wrong, I'm still a mess. I still cry sometimes when I drive past our old house. I still have moments where I want to text Grant and beg him to remember what we had. But those moments are getting fewer and farther between. I told him he should stop complaining about being lonely, and now he's found happiness without me. The irony isn't lost on me, but maybe, just maybe, it's time for me to stop complaining too. To stop blaming everyone else for my loneliness and start building the kind of life that could attract the kind of partnership I say I want. It's not a fairy tale ending. There's no Prince Charming waiting to rescue me, no magical transformation that will undo my mistakes, just me finally starting to face reality. One therapy session and one spreadsheet at a time, and honestly, maybe that's exactly the ending I need.